Okay, good afternoon. Welcome to Memories 96.5 FM. My name is Chris OKON. It's always my pleasure to welcome you to Akwaibom of our dreams on Memories 96.5 FM. Today is a beautiful day. Very profound apologies to many of our listeners. I'm very sure you've not heard my voice for some time. Thank God for Julius, who has been standing by. Julius has been standing by, holding forth while I was away. It's Memories 96.5 FM, and the program is programmed to help us to interrogate the dreams of Akwaibom, your own dreams, the dreams of your community, the dreams of your federal constituency, the dreams of the senatorial district, and the dreams of our founding fathers. And we get to see whether we are working to actualize that dream for the prosperity of our children and the children yet unborn. So, if you are just joining us, you are tuned to Memories 96.5 FM, and the program is Akwaibom of our dreams. We're on a break, and when we return, we will unveil our guests. Thank you. Good afternoon and welcome. Okay, if you're just joining us, this is Memories 96.5 FM, and the program is Akwaibom of our dream. With me in the studios are two gentlemen. We're still expecting some other people, and when they arrive, we will be able to unveil them. But for now, we have the irreversible himself, the irrefutable, multi-functional practitioner of journalism, tax and administration, and is very qualified to discuss the subject matter of today. Akparawa of Fiong Otu. Welcome.
My pleasure being here today. My pleasure seeing you after a long absence.
Thank you, Akparawa.
Regards to Akwaibom people.
I'm very happy to see you, Akparawa.
Thank you very much.
It's been a long time.
Thank you, sir.
Thank God for the social media that has created the intersection.
Sure.
Okay, and with me also in the studio is the man whose voice you have heard for some time, a development communication expert himself, Julius. Brenner is in the house. Julius, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
You are looking a little bit, it's like this economy is not affecting you, Julius. Are you in an economy that I call theonomics? That is the economy of God.
I shouldn't always look like what I pass through. So I want to say a big thank you to you for showing up to help us out. And then good afternoon, Akwaibom. It's nice to be here.
All right, good afternoon, and Julius, and it's always good to see you. You are looking a little bit fattened. I think that this economy is making you different from what the rest of us are looking like.
It's good on him.
All right, so, and today, coincidentally, we are discussing about microeconomics and the available opportunities in Akwaibom State. And this topic is very, very important within the context of the challenges that we are facing as a people across this country. And Akwaibom is part of Nigeria, and we believe that Akwaibom is suffering from the same thing that other people are suffering from. We are buying from the same market. And most of the things that are in Akwaibom are being imported or being brought in through our borders from outside, and so many things are affected in Akwaibom State. Sometimes even things we buy in Akwaibom appear to be a little bit more expensive than other states. Things like the petroleum products, sometimes it appears it is higher. So today we'll be discussing about Akwaibom microeconomics and the opportunities, the available opportunities that are available for Akwaibom. Should we be helpless in the face of the challenging economy, or should we put our heads together and think of what we can actually use this opportunity to make out of it, and maybe we can even find some opportunities even within the hardship. So that's what we'll be discussing today, and I'm very excited. I have two people that are qualified. One is a development expert, and the other one is an accountant and also an astute administrator. So, Akbarawa,
Yeah.
within the context of the challenges being faced in the country today, do we still have opportunities in Akwaibom? Is Akwaibom a destination? Because the dreams of the founding fathers of Akwaibom is that Akwaibom should not be a pedestrian state. It should actually be a destination. Are you sure? How sure are we within the context of what is happening in Akwaibom and in Nigeria today? Do we still have opportunities that can lead us to prosperity?
Yeah, we still have a lot of opportunities available. Akwaibom shouldn't be a leeway, should be a final bus stop for a whole lot of persons. And despite what we have on hand, I want to salute the magnanimity of His Excellency Pastor Omoeno for his relentless efforts in introducing and some element of complication, like I would put it, like Bambulu would say, that that is an element of complication here. I just recently I learned from the media that His Excellency wants to build an artificial lake. An artificial.
How is that supposed to help our local?
Beautiful.
We're talking about a microeconomy.
Good.
We have microeconomy, we have a macroeconomy.
Yeah.
How is that supposed to build our microeconomy and engender prosperity?
Yeah, it's going to draw investors to Akwaibom. It's going to bring tourists to Akwaibom. They can always pay off, and it's going to draw the youth away from the street. It's going to magnify the economy. Towards that axis, artists will come here. We don't have one in Akwaibom. We don't have one in Nigeria.
So you're saying that when investors hear about the aesthetics of the lake,
beautiful,
they will come forward. Good. They will come around. Good. And through that, their money will also come with them.
Beautiful.
And to that extent, they can provide jobs for the people.
Good.
Is that what you're saying?
Good. And it's going to also, the ripple effect will touch the hospitality industry.
Okay. Now, as you were just talking, another person joined us today. Today we have a full house. We may actually have more than a full house. You know, I have with me here a marketing communication expert and a very distinguished public analyst of note, Mr. Udeme Afarane. Udeme Afarane, welcome to the studio and welcome to the program.
Good evening, good afternoon, Dr. Chris. Good afternoon, my colleague, Barawa, who is not tired, but retired, a journalist of no mean repute. Good afternoon, our listeners at home. It's always my pleasure to talk on issues that has to do with the development of Akwaibom State.
Okay, Udeme, we were just talking about microeconomics and the available opportunities in Akwaibom within the context of the economic challenges that we have found ourselves. Should we be helpless? Is there any hope for Akwaibom to be able to arrive at the destination? I said earlier before you walked in that one of the major dreams of the founding fathers of Akwaibom was to have a state that is a destination, not a pedestrian state. You know, so and the way things are going, I asked Akbarawa earlier whether he still feels that that dream is a reality within the context of the economic reality of Nigeria, which is also affected Akwaibom. Are we sure we can actually move to a destination state? Udeme, let me fire you a shot before you sit down properly.
This program is a Akwaibom dream, and we all have every right to contribute to the development of this state, and that's exactly what we are doing. I give kudos to you for having this dream of bringing up a program of this magnitude. It's not only educative, it's entertaining, and it's a program that is factual. It's bias of any kind of politics that you want to think about. Then going back to your question, this state is a state that has been named after God, and God has also blessed us with leaders that are visionary. If you want to look at even from the era of the military administration to where we written as a country to democracy, from 1999 till date, we've been blessed with leaders with exceptional capacity and quality to
why has it taken us so much time? And notwithstanding the excellent leaders that we have had, why has it taken us so much time to become a destination? Because that is the dream. And now we have been sandwiched by the economic reality. Can we still meet up with the reality and with the dream of being a destination that is a state that is not importing Gary, that is able to export Gary, a state that is not importing yam, that is able to export yam, a state that is not importing tomato, that is able to export tomato, a state that is not importing fufu, but is able to export fufu? All these are things that are agents of prosperity. I ask you, why is it taking us over 35 years to be able to arrive at our destination?
Let's look at the main topic of the day, the microeconomic of these states. How can we utilize that?
And the available opportunities.
They are there. Let me go straight to the point. Now, when you talk about micro, you are referring to those little things.
That is why I'm mentioning Gary.
Yes.
I'm mentioning these small things.
And in this administration that we are today, the administration of Pastor Omar Bassi, talks so much about the development of the agricultural potentials in the states, encouraging farmers. I've been saying this across electronic media's platform in the states, and I will continue to say this. It is only when you have those people that can interpret your dream, your vision as a leader, that is only when you can get it right. If you look at the Arise agenda, look at the different legs of the program of this present administration, agricultural development is one of the important legs. And you just mention of essential food commodities that without any issues, we can grow them here in Akwaibom State in a very large quantity, up to the extent of exporting them. The governor himself talked about why he was surprised. As a Akwaibomite, we were still buying pepper, just about 5 or 3 or 4 pieces of peppers at the rate of 200 naira. This is something you can virtually grow within your environment. Now, what I mean is this: if you are blaming the leadership, you should also blame the followership. This governance is a two-way thing.
No, there's no blame. There's no blame here.
The issue is this.
We're trying to find out the disconnect.
Yes, the disconnect
is this the government problem or the people's problem or the intermediary? Those who are supposed to represent the governor or the government at various levels.
It is the intermediary problem and the government problem. I'm going to explain that. Let's start from the intermediary. Those people who are supposed to be the lieutenants, the foot soldiers for this government, for the governor to interpret and work assiduously, is saying to whatever goals or aims of the governor to be achieved, are not doing what they're supposed to do. Today, if you go to the Ministry of Agriculture in the states, what you see, it is factual. It is my opinion. I'm on a live radio. I want them to quote me. This is Sudara Fahana on the radio. I've been saying this across other platforms. What we have today are political farmers. Fine, the government of Omoino has tried in the area of having a kind of a mechanized farming in Akwaibom State. Every 1,000 miles begin with the steps. I have seen the commissioner for agri coming up with improved seedling. It doesn't end at that. Go to Bauchi State today. Go to Borno State. Go to Niger State. Go to Kano State. You would agree with me that what we are having here is a political farming. If we want to get it right, there are things we need to do. You talk about developing the microeconomy of the state to help the citizens. Do you also consider the electricity? Do you also talk about the urban power? Now, the SSA to governor on power, Engineer Mingene Tudo sometimes told us that they are incapacitated to even distribute. Now, the distribution of electricity has been expunged from the exclusive list of the federal government. What are the opportunities of the state governors, of the state government? How are they picking that as an advantage to ameliorate
Okay,
the plight of the artisanships in the states.
I'll get back to you.
Doctor, don't come this
I can see the temperature, even the AC is very high, but the temperature of the room is getting very, very high. I'll get back to you because I just wanted you to sit properly before I fire the question. But by firing you, I think you are going in the right direction. But I want to ask. I'll get back because I'll get back to Julius because he has not spoken to us far. Now I get back to the man who started the conversation.
Yes, sir.
To ask him.
Yes, sir.
Now, Akwara too.
Yes, sir.
Did you think you have heard what Udeme said?
Yeah.
Is there any disconnection between government policy? For instance, the governor has asked that Friday will be like a farming day, and everybody's supposed to be able to display his farm. From the governor to the deputy governor to the permanent secretary, everybody's supposed to be showing off their farm. The villager is supposed to show off his farm. Did you think that the message of the governor is being taken to the grassroots? And did you think that the pace that we are going, that the governor can arrive at his dream of ensuring that these micro commodities that keep us alive are not being imported from other places? We are not against anybody coming in, but we should be able to earn. We are talking about opportunities for survival in and a contraindicated economy.
Would you let me talk?
Okay, continue.
It's like you've even answered the
No,
question.
I've not.
It's just been.
But as I looked at you, I knew that you were hungry.
I like the temperature in the room. In fact, I saw Asa increase the volume of the AC because I think Udeme was even taking us off the. I think there is a disconnect. I mentioned it here the first time or some time ago when we analyzed the local government economy. Let me put it that way. I still there's that disconnect. Any program, any project that government does and does not have an M&E department is a failed project.
Please, what is M&E department?
Monitoring and
Evaluation department.
Thank you.
That is the beginning of anything that you want to do, the government wants to do. The governor must tell us, the deputy governor must show us, we must see from the SSG their farms. All the commissioners must take the lead. They cannot lead from behind and put the leadership, the followership in front. Let's be very factual. If I farm my little farm in my backyard and I produce pepper, and I know as of now pepper costs about 30,000 naira in a small basket. The same thing with tomatoes. With that we can do. You may not be able to produce salt. We can get it from Delta or Edo State in Ethiopia where it is produced.
But there's salt also in the local government.
That's
beautiful.
Right.
If that is done and everybody contributes, as you taught me, and I have not forgotten in a hurry, that it is the conglomeration, summation of all these small businesses, the POS, the man who sells the shop, that makes up the economy. That is the micro, that added up the macro is formed. So I have not forgotten that.
And that is, by the way, that is what is even driving the American discussion. The conversation to the next presidency of the US is really anchored on the middle class.
Beautiful.
The microeconomy.
Good. That is what we are looking at. So the disconnect is that I have refused because there is no M&E, no monitoring, no evaluation of that program. If government monitors from the executive council, the government monitors from the legislative arm, everybody must have a farm and show one. Encourage us. Don't sit in your shriveled chair. I sit in the studio and be speaking grammar. When I live here and I am hungry, I look outside to bring Gary. What concerns dollar with Gary? Let's be very factual. The road I pass to this studio now is the same road I've been passing ever since. The bush ways of the road are still there, not cultivated. What is government doing? Let government stand up. Let government move in, and we follow government. They bulldoze this farm. Every land belongs to government in Akwaibom. Say that the 1976 Land Use Act. That is it. Government, if you tell the
what it means is that if you cannot farm, then you have to give the farm out.
Good. Give the farm out.
No farm should be farmed.
Nobody is taking your land away.
Yes, you remain the owner.
Yes,
but since you cannot farm,
beautiful.
you give it out.
Let us give it out. Let us do it. By the time I do my farm, my pepper farm, somebody does tomato farming, somebody else plants fluted pumpkin, somebody else plants this and cocoyam and yam and all these things. By the time you go to market, definitely the man who's selling tomatoes will be sleeping because nobody is going to buy from him. I harvest my own. Everybody harvest. The price will drop drastically. There's no magic about it. That disconnect is that government does not value, does not monitor what it has started. No monitoring and evaluation, no project succeeds. So I take it from here. Quote me anytime, anywhere. As an accountant, as a tax expert, I monitor, I evaluate whatever I do. Even this program, each time I finish, I call and ask people, how did I go? Well, give me the impetus to know where I have gone wrong, the feedback.
Yes.
If the feedback is not there, we are deceiving ourselves. The governor must show his farm. The deputy, everybody in the state executive council, no lawyer who does not eat. Every lawyer
so we
must
should
farm.
actually have Operation Show Your Farm.
Beautiful.
That is
By the time you do that, and you also have a team, a committee. When you say first Friday and last Friday or third Friday, go to farm and I sleep in my house, how would you know? Why do we show? Some of us collect the fertilizer, the inputs, and sell.
That's what they call them, political farmers.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
They carry briefcase and they speak all the grammar in the world. There's no grammar in the farm. Go to the farm. Bukumbara, Dorison. Like my brother has said, that's
right.
they don't be shouting at us. Nobody is beyond hunger. Beyond the hunger, after 2 months grammar, you'll be hungry.
And by the way, after 4 years or 8 years of your tenure, you get back to that ecosystem.
Good.
Where there's no farm.
Yeah, there's no.
Okay, let me get back to Julius will have to weigh in a little bit on
Yes.
this conversation.
Yes.
And because we never say something about, he was speaking about in the Ministry of Agriculture, how they handle seedlings. We are talking about
The inputs,
opportunities, yes. And it seems to be a little bit synthetic or a little bit dramatic about the way they do it. It has been, this year alone, it appears we have lost over 70% of the maize that were cultivated in Akwaibom to maize mosaic.
Good.
I speak that from evidence because even my farm,
It affected my own farm too.
I spent a lot of energy in my farm, but the output
It's not worth
very
it.
insignificant. And I just look at the old women who are still planting 120 years old seedlings that have been recycled for several years. Those seedlings can no longer survive diseases. And I want to ask Julius, talking about evaluation, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think these opportunities? How can it be enhanced by those who are interpreting the dream? Because we never made mention about interpretation of the dream. The governor has the dream, but there is a deficit. It is clear, and it should be said that there's a deficit in interpretation of the dream as far as the microeconomy of the state is concerned. So I ask you.
All right, thank you so much. First of all, we should understand that microeconomy is the sum total of what we do, what you do as a person, and what I do. What I mean by that, in summation, the production, the consumption, and the distribution of goods and services at individual level. Now, if I'm a farmer and then I go to my farm and then cultivate and then bring it to the marketplace and someone buys it, maybe I'm not the one doing preservation. The person preserve it and another person takes it for export. Export not necessarily outside Nigeria.
That's the value chain.
That's the value chain.
Sure.
Now, what we talk about what government is doing and how are they been able to monitor and evaluate the system. You talked about the farming system and the dream of the governor as how to drive everyone desire to go back to the farm. That's why we have Friday, every third Friday, first and third Friday, for civil servants. That does not mean that other days and you cannot go to the farm. But the disconnect there is that we do not have a monitoring system that is effective enough to give a real report of what is going on within the week, so that we sit back and say, okay, this is what we have achieved, within 5 days or 6 days.
Or week
if
one.
we could double it, or let's look at the the lapses and find a way to connect it. Udeme talked, Ms. Udeme talked about political farmers. This is just the facts. If you look at it, the commissioner of agriculture may have good intention, just like the governor has, but the commissioner for agri will not go with you to your farm, will not come to your ministry to check all of that. There are people.
No, but what stops us from making use of the extension
agents?
Where are the extension
At
officers?
the extension agent, that is
I
the
grew
question.
up to see
Are they-
extension officers. They are
are
supposed to
they
be
exist?
on the road.
Do they still
The village
exist?
farm, children's on the village. As the people are going to the farm in the village, I mean, there's supposed to be an extension officer that is being earmarked to be able to do that distribution. So, what happens to the extension officer? Where are they?
That is the question. We should now. If when I was growing up, I also noticed that they were there, and this is also part of what we saw at the rural areas. We talked about the sanitation people that every
Sanitary
inspectors. Now, these are the things that we grew up to see, which are not there today. Now, if you go to most of this ministry, it is possible to have that office, but do they really work? It's a question that I do not have the capacity to answer, in the sense that I do not work with them to know. But by and large, you find out that their impact is not felt, if at all they exist. So by the side, if I am, let's also look at what is our comparative advantage as a state. We have the food, the seashore, the seafood in a very large and abundant way. But do we take advantage of this? Do we allow outsiders to come in and take advantage? So these are the things that, if we harness it, these are the opportunities that if we critically and practically harness it, we could build our economy as a state, and not necessarily waiting for the government to do everything.
Okay, Julius, we have to just go on a break, and when we return, you have just entered into a new area of opportunity, which is our and also profess solutions. On this program, we have to profess solutions to the problem.
Sure.
It's not only about talking about it. All right, let's go on a break, and we will. Alright, if you are just joining us, this is my 6.5 FM, and the program is Akwaibom of our Dream, and today with me I have two very excellent gentlemen, and the temperature of the room is increasing because of this subject matter. We have to survive this economy, whether the devil likes it. Whether the devil likes it or not, okay? So, and we are discussing about the microeconomy, and Julius put it succinctly about the fact that the microeconomy is not a summation of our production activities, and how it intersects from production to distribution and to consumption. And in the chain, there is derivatives, and that derivative is called livelihood. And so we are discussing today about the opportunities that abound in Akwaibom State, and whether we have been able to make use of it well. And at the introductory level, we're discussing one subject matter, which one sector, and that we have a comparative advantage, and that is agriculture. And we can talk about agriculture from now till 1 year. It will not be enough because it's vast. And for Akwaibom, God has so blessed us, but it appears that we have not been able to make a lot from it. Now, there's an introduction, and let's get back to Odema Farene. Julius brought in this introduction about how we have been able to manage the resources from our marine resources, our wetland, how we have been able to manage it, both fishing, the produce from the sea. Have we been able to manage it? Is it not an opportunity for prosperity in other places? Some countries like Norway, the Scandinavian countries particularly, they depend largely outside tourism on these particular resources. And we have also other issues, other advantages in manufacturing. And we are supposed to be a state that has interest in even the marine transportation. For God's sake, how can we be a state with Atlantic Ocean that we are a littoral state? How many vessels do we own? How many vessels do our people own? To what extent have we been able to invest in the marine subsector? I'm talking about other issues like the palm produce and many other things, including the energy sector. We should not have a problem with energy, because just behind us we have companies that are wasting gas against even international law. So I ask you, Odema Farene, what do you think that we have been able to manage our naturally given resources properly? And how can we convert those resources to opportunities for prosperity?
Dr. Chris, before I go to the issue of the blue economy that is vast, seen in the state, let me conclude the agricultural potentiality that we have in the state.
Okay, just a brief one.
A brief one.
Because of time.
A brief one. Are you aware that there's a community, there's a particular local government in Akwaibom State, in the local government to be precise, a locality called Enquiry community, a boundary community with Abia State? Brother, I am very sincere. That is a community that has been blessed virtually with everything you may think of when it has to do with food consumption.
Food production.
Food production, I mean to say. Yes, food production. You want to talk about the rice? You want to talk about cultivation of cassava, that you can have the byproduct of it in a very large quantity, the fufu, the gari, and what have you? Do you want to talk about the green vegetation, when if you can plant anything vegetable in that community up till now as we are speaking? I am not saying this just to make anybody happy. It is factual. You can go and find out. Up to today in that community, they are doing what we know as trade by barter. A woman who is able to plant maybe pumpkin or water leaf or whatever will take it to the market to exchange it with gari. This gari that we are talking about in Akwaibom State that goes for 5 cups, 1,000.
So what you are saying is that their climate is favorable.
What I am saying, apart from being favorable, we should say this factual the way it is.
It's untapped.
We have to provide solutions to government. Yes. Government is supposed to be a two-way thing. The followership and the leadership. We are the followership. We are here on this program to provide solutions. You see, we have a demonstration farm in Newsroom, the local government, in a particular, something like that, where the governor yes, where the governor comes from. Mr. Chris, if we have that kind of farm in Enquiry community, I am betting every one of us that is listening to us on this program, within the next 6 months, the issue of food, the issue of essential commodities like gari, fufu, pepper, and rice.
So you are asking that a replication of the form should be moved.
Then go back to your question that you asked me about the blue economy. I'm from Oron extraction of the state.
Economy.
Yeah,
That's the blue economy.
That's right.
Their contribution.
I'm from there. I grew up there. I schooled in my area. I went to Bethany Boarding School before I came down to Uyo to stay. Every Oron man and woman is a potential fisherman. That's the truth. Is either you do it as a profession or you engage in whatever produce that is coming from that that area. The last administration talked about giving to the fishermen within that coastal line, not only in our nation, along the coastal line of Akwaibom State, to give to them a kind of a preservative system, a storage facility, which this product or produce from water can have, a value chain.
A longer shelf life.
When I was in modern school, as a child, I used to see the Congolese.
Were you a fisherman?
I wasn't. The Congolese, the Ghanaians, the Bayassans coming to buy, good number of fish. In fact, most fishing business were done by these people. And there was something, I think there was a particular thing that they used to do which caught my attention. I don't know the specific of that particular fish. They will open the belly, get some certain parts from that fish, and they export it. They export it.
That's for leather.
I'm saying this on the live radio. If a layman, a common fisherman can have that idea, and I'm telling you, those things were done by non-Akwaebomites. Today, let's look at the practical issues on ground, which
they are still doing it.
Yes, they're still doing it. Which every one of us can attest to that. The crayfish, the fish, go to Abia State today. You can buy a quantity of crayfish at a very low rate compared to what you are buying even in Oro.
Sure.
Not talking about the Akwaibom State. That is to say, you talk about how many ships do we have, to increase the productivity of the marine sector. Apart from the issue of the sea pirates that we're having, and we know that the water shores of Nigeria, is under the exclusive list of the federal government. But as a state that wants to grow, that wants to ameliorate the pains of the people, they can look inward. Now, this economy that we're having in Nigeria is not only in Akwaibom State. The inflation rate is high, and it is getting, increasing astronomically on daily basis. That means that every leadership, not only at the state level, from the community level, must be sincere to the local government level, to the state level, and all arms of government must be on, put their hand on deck to see to it on investing sincerely without any political bias.
Okay, I have to pause you.
Let me finish.
To announce this to our listeners that because we also have an opportunity for them to contribute their own ideas as to how we can prosper as a state. And so the numbers for them to contribute is 0803 085 7755. Again, 0803 085 7755 or 0809 066 6909. Again, 0809 066 6909. You can also contribute in any language of your choice. And I have our first caller. Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Memories 96.5 FM. Your name and where you're calling from?
Yes, my name is Jimmy. I'm calling from India.
Welcome to.
Yes, you guys have listened to you guys very well. You guys talk about farming, how to solve the problem of doing the insecurity in the state. And going to the farming is a very nice thing, for the government to advise and the farming. It's a very nice thing. And sometimes I wonder if the government that they are even serious, because I used to listen to the program. I'm not yet when the government said that they have distributed the fertilizer, to the people that are farming. And I'm not yet saying, I don't know if it happens, but I really haven't heard something that government has provided fertilizer, to the farmer. So it is just a talk without them doing something. So it doesn't make sense. So I will advise the government, if they say that they should play their own role, make sure that you provide the security, solve the problem of farm headsmen and plastic, in situation with someone just to transfer, but go to the next day, the animals have entered and destroy everything that your farm. So if they should try to solve that problem, one of the branching and all that, just make sure that they solve the problem that the grass. And they look for, keep the people going. They ask them, not for radio power, not for radio power, people that are not put into practice. Not for a situation where someone will just go because of you have support and all, and you have access to the zone and just practice and do something and that is the farm. So I want to say that they should create that venue. Maybe people can get the loan and go into the bank. Thank you very much. And the people that go into the bank should be government appointed because they have the resources. Not for people in the village that are living trying to get into a consistent family for their own family.
Thank you.
Make sure that they provide those.
Thank you.
For people to go to commercial farm.
Thank you. Thank you. I think you have made a very important point about the fact that it is even people who are working that have access to money that can actually acquire land, which is a very important factor of production. Whatever you have to round up your thoughts so that we can move to the next.
What I was talking about is that all of this that we are talking has to do with the political will. Political will. If the governor himself is serious.
But the government has the political will.
I'm coming because see, Dr. Chris, at the end of this administration, no commissioner will be mentioned. They said during the era of His Excellency.
Absolutely.
That's right. So
what should the governor do? If the governor has been able to bring out a policy, he has been able to announce it, and some people are sabotaging it. So what should the governor do?
Monitoring and evaluation units should be established. Let me tell you, during
what will be the consequence of monitoring? Would I if I ask you?
Political.
The consequence of monitoring will be the governor himself would know if actually those programs and agendas of his has been properly, carried out to the letter.
Yes.
Let me also bring this scenario. During the administration of Chief Gospel Obodo Pabio, that he came up with the issue of free and compulsory education in the state. We have monitoring officers. We had one, late Etubom, what is his name, from Etina, may so rest in peace. It was SSA governor on monitoring. We never had any people, students, loitering around the street today.
You're asking the governor to appoint monitors on agriculture.
That's right.
Of course.
Okay.
Won't that be expanding?
It's not expanding. We have there is
because it's still the people that will shout.
Dr. Chris.
The governance cost is
So
increasing.
he has
Dr. Chris,
and whatever.
That is an already established agency. I've not heard about that agency again. It's an agency of government. The Academy. Have you heard about Academy again? Have you heard about Academy? What were the duties of Academy in Akwaibom State? Many farmers that we have in those days that when I grew up were trained and monitored by the Academy officials.
Okay. Let me just move back to Akbarawa, because I would like to look at those opportunities while expecting our callers to also call in and tell us their own view as to the opportunities that exist in our microeconomy and how we can advance the livelihood of our people. In fact, to the extent of even exporting most of these goods and also earning money. Like people are also earning money from us. So Akbarawa, let us look at even the opportunities themselves. We have talked about the vegetation, the vegetables, across the state. We never mentioned about the fact that some local government areas have comparative advantage. Some of them are very stable for almost all the crops. What are the opportunities that exist for Akwaibom people that they can invest in and that they can survive with this particular economy?
So I will still go back to the blue economy. I've had an opportunity to work in Mbo. I worked in Orefa, Morocco, and I have been at the beach as a director of finance. I wasn't in my office. I was at the beach.
So you spend a lot of your time eating fish?
Good. And that is why you see me the way I am. No denying that fact. Now let's be very factual. We can establish a value chain from the moment the fish comes out of water. The wife of the Governor Pabio, His Excellency, built a kiln at the park, at the beach, where fish will be dried. That place has been abandoned. People who work at that place, they contribute a lot. At Ebu, we had a lot of facilities that was taking care of a whole chunk of the people, the population.
Are you talking about the fishing terminal at the Bogo?
Good, at the fishing terminal at the Bogo. It's abandoned. It's no more functioning. Why is it not functioning? These are advantages we would gain very quietly and very privately. They will export most of these fishes.
Can't our people come together to form cooperatives that can help them to get a large chunk of money that can help them invest?
So they need government backing. If we form the cooperative, who is going to finance them? who is going to finance? This is capital intensive that will ripple up, that will rejuvenate the life, agricultural